Up again. Let's have another sign for Azara. Another round of applause for Azara. I didn't think much of the person who came up with her. Right, now we have something a bit different, a bit of comedy. It's really good, but you've got to listen to his jokes and not fall asleep. Can you please put your hands together for Tristan Harris, who's also editor at the Bromsgrove Standard. Tristan Harris, thank you.
Woo! Are we all having a good time, yeah? So are we all having a good time? Yeah! That's better. I'm Tristan Harris, I'm the editor of the Bromsgrove Standard, and I've been doing the job about 18 years now, and it's quite a good job, you know, you get to do some exciting stuff. Get to go on police raids, that's one of the things, yeah. Had one last year in Droitwich, and yeah, I had to be up at 5 AM, that was the only drawback, and then I had to be at the station for 7. We're sitting round, you've got all the police officers sat round, and the one says, "Sarge, are we getting a drugs dog?" And the sergeant says, "Yeah." He's meeting us there. I just had this vision of this police dog driving his own car to the raid. Possibly a Rover, maybe. And another one put his hand up, he said, "I thought we weren't getting a drugs dog this time." I said, "Yeah, we sorted out his overtime." Sorted out his overtime? What, you paying him in steak and bonios? So, we get on the road, we set off in convoy. Now, I must point out at this bit that they're not done like the old days with the big red door key where they smash the door in. Oh no. They've got a rapid entry task force team, it's called. You've got a copper dressed all in black, apart from his eyes showing. And he carries a big chainsaw, and that's how he gets into the property. So I'm sat next to the ninja copper, and we pull over in Witchbold, just by where the raid is going to take place. Now it's around the corner from the address, because obviously you don't want to be trying to start a chainsaw outside the target address, because they'll hear it and then they'll flush the drugs down the toilet or something. So he gets out the van. That's a chainsaw, by the way. It's not a disgruntled drugs dog who didn't get his overtime that week. And he's like this for 10 minutes. I'm thinking, if I've got out of bed at 5 AM for this and it doesn't go ahead, I'm not going to be happy. The chainsaw starts, he gets back in the van, but now I've got another problem. This chainsaw is about an inch away from my leg. Now, we're always getting letters to the Standard about potholes in the road. I thought, if there's potholes in this road, I could lose a leg here. Now, journalists are well known for getting legless, but that's not in that way, no. So, the van pulls up at the address, everyone files out, ninja copper goes to the door, he cuts a big copper-shaped hole in it, everybody files in, send in the drugs dogs, and I'm outside taking photos, and I'm thinking, what am I going to put as the headline when I get back to the office? Now, it's Class A drugs and female drug dealer. Oh, I thought, what about, I wonder where she hid them, crack up her... No, we better not do that, it's a family newspaper. And then I thought, hang on a minute, it's cocaine. They're getting cocaine off the streets, and they've had 3 raids in 7 days. That's just not to be sniffed at, is it? So, that was drugs raid. You do court cases as well. We had a court case in Redditch. There was this guy, he was living rent-free at a Redditch hotel, and he was plundering the minibar, he was getting loads of free stuff. And what he'd done is he had a stolen credit card, and he'd perfected the victim's signature, he was using the victim's name, it was the perfect crime, until he got caught. How did he get caught? He fancied the barmaid in the hotel bar, and he sent her a Facebook friend request with his real name. Needless to say, he won't be poking her for some time. Another court case, and this guy rang me up, he said, "Why did you put me in the paper for drink driving?" I said, "Well, it's like public interest." He said, "I know that." He said, "I did the crime, I'm doing the time." He said, "I'm not complaining about that." I said, "Well, what have you called up for?" He said, "Why did you have to put in about my business collapsing? Why did you have to put in about my wife leaving me? Why did you have to put in about my friends deserting me?" I said, "That was your defence." There was another guy, and he was a really angry man, and he growled all the way through proceedings. He'd done some pretty nasty assaults and things. And the victim gave their evidence behind the screen. The prosecution, they gave their evidence. And at the end of the case, he got what was coming to him. He went down for a very long time. Now at this point, I don't think he could work out whether to show remorse for what he'd done or to show how upset he was at the sentence. Because he looked up at the judge and he said, "Kiss my ass, Your Honour." So that was court cases. And then the other big thing we've got at the moment is Brexit, of course, isn't it? Yeah, again, we got, to be fair, Brexit mainly happens on our letters page. We get people writing in loads of letters. We started off really simply. We had Remainers writing in about why they wanted to remain in the EU. We had Leavers writing in why they wanted to leave. And then we started getting Remainers pretending to be former Leavers who've seen the light and now want to remain. So I didn't print any of them. But my favourite was, there was this lady on Question Time, and I call her Prep Woman. I don't know if you saw this. She was there and she said, "If they send all these people back, my daughter, who's got a French teacher, she might be sent back, the French teacher, and then she won't have anyone for French who speaks French and who is French." And everyone applauded. And she went, "My other daughter, she has Spanish lessons of a Spanish teacher, and if that teacher's sent back, then my daughter's Spanish lessons won't be as good." Everyone applauded. And then she said, "And what about all the jobs that British people won't do? What about, she was about to go on, and I thought, I know what she's going to say. She's going to say, what about all the care jobs? Jobs in care homes and the NHS. She's on a winner here, she's going to get loads of applause. She said, what about all the jobs that British people don't do? Who's going to serve my coffee in Pret? Who's going to serve my sandwiches in Pret if they all get sent back? It's going to be awful." Needless to say, she didn't get the same round of applause for that. Now, have you noticed that people talk about Brexit, they talk about it all the time, but they talk about life before Brexit, like they used to talk about life before kids. Because my wife would always say to me, "Remember before the kids, and we used to be able to stay in expensive hotels and go on expensive nights out and stuff." People say that about Brexit. Do you remember what life was like before Brexit? I mean, do you remember when a Northern Irish backstop was a woman from Belfast who liked to play rounders? So there's that. Have you noticed as well that Brexit's a bit like football, this counter? It's a bit of a weird comparison, isn't it? But bear with me, stay with me. Yeah, because Brexit, like football, every few months the person in charge gets sacked and someone else gets brought in who they think could do a better job. And then you've got, if you support a Premier League team or a Championship team, at the end of the season, half of them want to leave and the other half want to remain. So it's like that now. And then also, the transfer windows in football. You've got one in January and one in August. So you know when May comes along, you've got no chance of a deal. So we've got the summer holidays coming up. Oh yeah, the other thing is about Brexit. There's only one way to solve Brexit, because it's the Northern Irish border, they said, was the sticking point. They said, if you get the Northern Irish border sorted, we can get that deal through. Right? There's only one way of solving the Northern Irish border. You need the biggest chainsaw in the whole world has ever seen. Much bigger than the police's for getting in drunk people's houses. You need the biggest chainsaw, you need to slice off Northern Ireland, and you need to glue it onto Wales, and that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. Yeah, so the summer holidays are coming up. Expensive time, isn't it, really? You've got to get the kids to places. And I mean, like places like Drayton Manor and Alton Towers, talking over £100 easily for a family of 4. And the worst thing about it is you pay the £100, and then when you get there, you remember they're charging for parking as well. I mean, these places are in the middle of nowhere. I can understand parking being charged for if it was near a shopping centre or something, but it's not like you're going to park in Alton Towers and then go off on a shopping spree in Stoke-on-Trent, is it? It's crazy. And the worst one was Waterworld. I mean, that was £60 for the family of 4. That wasn't too bad. And then they charge parking £3.50. But they said, when I booked it, they said, right, you book it online, you print off the tickets, you bring them to us, and then underneath that it said, and there'll be £1 administration charge on each ticket. I said, £1 administration charge? You haven't done anything. I've booked it online. I'm the one who's printed the tickets off. I'm the one who's driven up there, and you're getting £1 for taking a piece of paper, effectively. Yeah, just be warned there. The other thing as well is you've got board games, haven't you, as well? Because you want to obviously take the kids away from screen time, and if you can't do it through taking them to Alton Towers and stuff, then you can do the board game route. But that only lasts about an hour, doesn't it, really? Because either one of your kids takes exception to the rules, or one of them beats the other one, and then before you know it, you're picking up all the little balls from Hungry Hippo for the next fortnight on your carpet. I tell you what, we don't need to play Cluedo in our house, because I know who's done the murder. It's my youngest one and my eldest one in our lounge with a stick from Kaplunk. Going back to the theme parks though, if you do want to take them to a theme park, right, because they see all the adverts on the television, don't they? They see like Drayton Manor and Alton Towers and Disneyland ones on all the time. Well, I've got a little bit of a hack, as they call it these days. Got a bit of a hack for Disneyland. Who knows the Chateau Impney in Droitwich? Anyone? It looks like a fairy tale castle, it's an amazing thing. Now, I don't know if you know the story behind it, I'll quickly tell you that. John Corbett, who's the salt king in Droitwich, he owned all the Droitwich salt factories, and he had a French wife, and she was a bit homesick, so he built her that. He built her a chateau. He's set the bar high for us guys, hasn't he? I mean, my wife's from near Windsor. If she thinks she's getting a round castle in the back garden, she's got another thing coming. But, yeah, so you take the kids to the chateau anyway. What you do is, you get Nanny and Grandad, pay them a tenner each to dress up as Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And you say, look kids, we're going to Disneyland, hooray! But then halfway through they say, Dad, hasn't Disneyland got any rides? That's what it shows on the telly. And I say, well, yeah, it has, but that's the problem with Disneyland, kids. It's so big, can't do it all in one day. So next time you're at the fun fair, what you do then is you say, here you go, kids, this is the rides at Disneyland that I never took you to. Job done. But then they go back to school, and the school friends say, what did you do over the summer holidays? Oh, we went to Disneyland. Really? How long did that take you? Now, if you're like me, I live in Northfield, you guys probably live pretty close to here. The kid will say, oh, about 7 hours. Thank God for the traffic on the M5, that's all I can say. Got us out of a hole there. So that's that. You could take them to the park, or you could take them swimming, maybe. And that brings me on to one of my favourite stories that I've done with, it was in Redditch a few years ago, and we got a phone call, and it was an anonymous tip-off. I love an anonymous tip-off in this job. And I've heard something that really, really, really shocked me. So I put the phone down, I spoke to my colleagues, I said, do you think that's true? They were like, I want to know. We had heard that Redditch's brand new swimming pool was going to be heated by the crematorium. Deary me, I tell you. You immediately start thinking the two things are going to get mixed up somehow, and there's going to be like bodies floating in the pool or ashes or something. Or the lifeguard's going to go, yeah, well, water's a bit cold, do you want to chuck another couple of grannies on and get it warm for the public? So, I had to find out if it was true. So I called the council, and there was a deathly silence, no pun intended. And then she said the words that all journalists love to hear. I mean, we were celebrating this. She said, I'll get you a statement. Phone went down, we were hugging each other, dancing around the office. I dare say, if this had been a national newspaper, we probably would have had a few cigars out and a bit of champagne. But the Standard is a free local weekly newspaper. So we celebrated with a coffee and a chocolate hobnob, and we waited till Friday, till the Redditch Standard came out, and we had this big story on the front about the pool being heated by the crematorium. I was expecting letters to come in. All the council have got no respect for the dead, this is terrible, things like that. I thought the letters pages were going to be full for weeks. But we got nothing, ladies and gentlemen. If anything, people got in touch to say what a great idea it was. I was absolutely gutted. And do you know the worst thing about it? The worst thing was, I could never think of slogans and things for adverts. We always have to write adverts for people. But these now, I didn't have to advertise because they got front page coverage and everybody was loving this new pool. Here was my slogan. Come to the new Redditch pool, it's dead warm. Another weird thing to happen to me was back in 2004, this woman phoned up. It was about 6 weeks before Christmas. She said, She said, the standard. I said, yeah, this is the standard. She said, I wonder if you can help me. I can't get any lard. I said, you can't get any lard? She said, I can't get any lard. I said, well, where have you tried? She said, I've tried Asda, I've tried Morrison's. What am I going to make my mince pies with for Christmas? This is terrible. I said, all right. And I was starting to think, that's somebody putting on a voice, because he did sound exactly like that. I thought panto dames don't bring up newspapers to road test their voice just 6 weeks before Christmas. But you can never be too careful. And then she said, it's all been sent to Poland. All the lard's been sent to Poland, every bit. All the lard's been sent to Poland. And now it was getting too far-fetched. But you cannot be too careful. So I took her number. I said, I'm going to do some investigative journalism, and I'm going to call you back when I know what's happened. So I put the phone down, did a bit of digging, and it was true. What had happened is the Czech Republic and Poland and all those other Eastern Bloc countries had all joined the EU. And because they could get cheap cuts of pork now, they bought all the pork up from across the EU, and it had led to a large shortage and, destroying British people's Christmases. So what I did was, I phoned her back, I said, right, we're going to put an appeal in for you, we're going to get you some lard. I'm confident the Standard can get you some lard. Oh, thank you, she said. So we sent a photographer out for a typical local newspaper picture. There she was, looking glum, through a bottomless cake tin. Christmas is ruined. And we put the story in on the Friday. On the Monday, she phoned me back, she said, oh, thank you, she said. People have been shoving lard through my letterbox all weekend. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. You've saved me Christmas. Now, normally, you go putting lard through anybody's letterbox at any time of year, let alone Christmas, and you're getting a passport. But on this occasion, it was good. So, I went round to her house for the obligatory follow-up, a nice cup of coffee and one of her lard-laden mince pies. And let me tell you, it was beautiful. It was crumbly pastry and everything. Better than Mr. Kipling. Don't tell him I said that. He'll be exceedingly upset. And yeah, I tried that, and I'd saved to Christmas. Now, what happened is, Christmas is a bit of a time off, a bit of a long way off now. But in the next few months, when it happens, people will say this to you. I can guarantee every one of you will hear this in the run-up to Christmas. They'll say, I don't know if I'm going to celebrate Christmas this year. It's too commercial. They forgot all the religious meaning and sentiment. They just don't even bring religion into it anymore these days. If that happens to you, please remember this story and tell them when it comes to Christmas, they're talking rubbish. Because when it comes to Christmas, praise the Lord, because it is great. Now, the weirdest thing ever to happen to me wasn't actually in the job. It was on the way home from the job. It was 5:30 p.m. on a Friday. The last train had been cancelled from Redditch railway station, and the next one was chocker. I got on, I sat next to the toilet because it was one of the only few seats available, and this woman gets on at Redditch station. She goes up to the toilet door. Why is this toilet door locked? I don't know, maybe there's a fare dodger in there, or maybe it's out of order. Oh, I'm bursting. I've been drinking all day. Well, that's my problem. I said, is there another toilet on this train? Well, there is, but this is carriage 2, and you've got to get to carriage 4. And you have to get off, go along the platform, and get back on again. So the train starts up. We're pulling into Bar Green Station, and she says, does this train stop here for long? I said, about 5 minutes. Right, she said. She went to the door, she pushed the button, she turned round, she said, close your eyes, everyone. She put one foot on the platform, left one on the train, hitched up her skirt, and weaved between the train and the platform. Everyone on the train was like, yeah, nobody could believe it. When she'd finished, she brought her leg back in, dusted down the skirt, and went and sat back down again, like nothing had happened. And a mate of mine, when I told him that, he said, how are they going to combat that? I said, what do you mean how are they going to combat that? I don't think it's a persistent problem. This is the first time I've seen it, God knows how many rail journeys. How are they going to combat that? He said, what about a sign? A sign's always good. I said, a sign? What would you have on it? He said, what about mind the slash? I said, you can't have signs in Barn Creek like that. The house prices will be plummeting before the paint's even dry. And then it got me thinking, I thought, well, you know, that woman was just doing at that time what was great for her, you know what I mean? She really needed to go. We've all been there, bursting for the toilet. There's nothing worse, is there, if you can't go? So she did what was right for her. And maybe we all need to do that a little bit more, because we do so much for other people. We look after our kids, we look after the elderly, we look after relatives, we volunteer at places. And I thought maybe once in a while we should all do something for ourselves. So if we want that brand new shirt, we think we just can't afford it. I mean, obviously don't go do anything illegal, and certainly don't go weaving between trains and platforms, because that's just not going to be good if that's happening on the Cross City line at all 24 stations. Because really, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about it, do something for yourself, because at the end of the day, when your time comes, we're all going to be left heating a swimming pool. I've been Tristan Harris, thank you ever so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show.